Harvest of Corruption by Frank Ogodo Ogbeche, narrated by Adamu Abdulmajid. Scene 1. Office Corridor. Enter Aloho, looking pensive. Aloho is slim with dark skin and is about 4 feet 6 inch with a red blouse over a black skirt, which makes her look like one of those born-again Christians. She ties on her head a brown scarf and carries a handbag. She holds in her hand a file and is reading an advertisement on a notice board on the wall. Ocholi, on the other hand, is of average height, wearing a dark red designer blouse over a tight miniskirt with an equally dark red designer shoe. She is a complete contrast of Aloho. She is gregarious and is often described by her friends as an extrovert. She appears behind Aloho and places both palms on her eyes. Aloho struggles to free herself, and both of them burst into laughter on the recognition of each other. Now your face be this. A baby does not stay in the womb forever, no matter how comfortable. Where have you been all these years? Old girl, looking her over. Come on, you are not looking your old self at all. Touching her blouse over and over. What is the matter? Ochole, my dear, she claps her hand. What is really happening to me? Or am I seeing double? What are you doing here? I have never for a moment counted you among the people in Jabu. I thought chicks like you would be in Busa, the center of excellence, where I understand things happen, especially when one remembers your heydays in the university. She hugs her again. I beg, make man hear word, not only center, na angle 90. Look, the oranges are here in Jabu, and I could not have waited to be told when they are ripe. I just have to be on ground to pluck mine right from the source. I have been here since we left school. In fact, this is my department. I work here. She points towards an office, showing surprise. You work here? What on earth is happening to me? She looks upward, hands skyward. God in heaven, what have I done wrong? Why is it that those who try to serve you never get it easy? Imagine how we despise you and your group for living reckless lives. First, we thought you wouldn't even make your papers, but you came out with a 2-2 class. And here again, you are comfortably working while I am still searching for one. She addresses God above. Look at me. Where do I belong now? What have I done wrong? Have I not served you faithfully? Tears drops from her eyes. You have come again. Feigning annoyance. I am not always comfortable when you start dishing out this your born-again stuff. Please, spare me another of your crusade sermons. Have you come here to insult me or what? Look, I don't like your comments. Please withdraw them before I change my mind. I am no more what I used to be, oh. I have changed now. I am sure you have forgotten that some people eat their cake and still have it. Ochole, my dear, I do not mean to insult you or annoy you. At least, not here. Look at you looking fine. Anyway, what are you doing in the ministry? By the way, what is the name of your own ministry? In this place, one does not know which is which. I understand this place is called My Summer. I hope I am right. I am a chief administrative officer attached to the minister, and the name of the ministry is External Relations. Look at the section over there. You can get there if you take this corridor. Gesticulates. By the way, what are you doing here? What is this in your hand? You can ask me that again, my sister. Could you believe that since my service, I've not been able to get any job for myself? I have tried everything everywhere, but no way. My dear, I am finished. I came into Jabu about a week ago, seeking your orange. If you do not mind my using your term, I am squatting with a friend of mine. Her name is Ogeyi, and she stays in a place called Panya. Suddenly becoming sympathetic. Oh, my dear, you don't mean that you have been jobless all this while? Then, what have you been doing? Hiding? Look at me, pointing to herself. A lot is happening in Jabu, but you must know your way. All you have to do is open your eyes wide. Not to look at Aso or Zuma Rock. Oh. If you stare too long at Zuma Rock, though gigantic and fascinating as it is, hunger will kill you in Jabu. Are you ready to work now? Look, you have to be sure before you answer. Oh. Here, there is no food for a lazy man. You have to be pushful. Make you take your time, think come out before you decide. Because once my oga take you, he no go let you go again. Oh. So be sure. On a serious note, you may go home now and come back to my office over there. And before then, I shall put in a word for you to my minister. I am very sure he will not say no. You may go now, till tomorrow. Are you sure of what you're saying? Will he employ me? Why not? Is he not the head of the ministry? He can do anything. Or are you not in Jakasan? This is why I have no patience with people like you. You always think negatively, and pessimism has no place in the Jakasan society now. Anyway, come tomorrow, and I shall see what I can do before then. What time do I come? Be here around 10 a.m. Big men never come to the office before 10 a.m. Remember, when you're coming, please try to brush off this sorry sight for yourself. She sneers at her. At least, brighten up, okay? Okay, I shall try and be myself. Don't try. Put on some nice dress and look smart. You know what I mean. Ochole, my dear, till then, I am lost with all this your lecture on fashion. All I am interested in is the job, and it is not the dress that will do the job, but my brain. So why the fuss about dressing? You can keep your fashion lectures to yourself, please. Moves closer to her and puts her hands on her shoulders. Bye, till tomorrow. You will get the job. Bye. I pray God will hear your prayer. Light fades. Light shines on Ojeyi's house at Panya, located at the bottom of a small knoll. Only a rough and tarred path leads there, with dirt all over the place, decorating both sides of the path. Just opposite the house is a heap of rubbish, which is almost becoming a familiar feature in describing the house to a visitor. Ojeyi's room is small but decent, with one cushioned chair and a bed. She is slim, fair complexioned, and of average height, with tribal marks of 3 black strokes, which run across the cheek from the mouth to the ear on both sides of her face. She is a born-again Christian who has vowed to maintain her strict Christian doctrines. She works as a receptionist in ABC Company. Right now, she is lying on the bed, crossing her legs on each other. She is reading a Christian book, Radical Prayers. Aloho enters, sits up. Welcome. How was it today? How did it go? Any success? Good afternoon, Ojeyi, my sister. What's up? Brushing aside her question. Any food in the house? I am starving. In fact, famished, my dear. Yes, there is some boiled rice in the pot, and you'll find a stew in the cupboard. But you have not answered my question. I am curious, and please don't keep me waiting. Oh, that, you mean about the job? As usual, moving towards the cupboard. Nothing ever comes out of it. In any case, today is a bit different. Guess who I ran into? Who? Guess now, yourself, pretending to frown. I just cannot guess who. And you know me, I am not very good at guesswork. You remember that? That was my major problem with our sociology lecturer in our school days. Or have you forgotten? The man would simply go mad at me because I never made my attempt. But up to now, I still believe that I either know a thing or I don't. So I don't make guesses. Anyway, let me save you the trouble. Brings out the rice and stew and start dishing out. I ran into Ochole at the secretariat. Pauses. You remember her? Ochole. That girl who was always making herself a nuisance on campus. Oh, OJ, think again. That girl who caused a lecturer suspension for leaking examination papers. You remember her now? Yes, yes, yes. Ochole, who wouldn't know her? Yes, she's the one I met, and she offered to introduce me to her minister, and she assured me of a job. And she what? Claps her palms together. Say again, have you forgotten her lifestyle? And why should you get yourself mixed up with Ocholi of all people? Why? That girl who has soiled the reputations of all decent girls in this Jabu. Is that a girl you ran into? I won't have you associating with her. Oji stops eating briefly. I believe she has changed. Anyway, she asked me to come to her ministry tomorrow morning. She assured me that her Oga will employ me. Oji, I am going. Right now, I want to get a job, and I will try to be careful about it. I know how you feel. Trust me, I am tired of searching for a job. I want to settle down. Suddenly, like someone possessed. Look at me. She points at herself. With all the decency, what have I achieved? Where has decency and dignity taken me to? I am tired. I need some rest. Just leave me alone. I need to think. Soberly. But OJ, you see, I try to live outside the world all along, right from my youth. I see that the world is leaving me behind. Can't you see? You can call me a rebel, but I need a job. That's what matters to me now. Have I not tried to live a holy life all along? What has become of that? Joblessness, failure, eh? People look at me as failure. Can't you see? Look at me, my friend. I was in this jabu before you. I know what goes on here. Be careful. I am warning you. All that glitters is not gold. Do not say I did not warn you. My candid advice to you as a friend is to wait and be patient for God to work his miracle. He knows the best for you, and he shall give you whatever you want at the appropriate time. God's time is the best, my friend. You just cannot be everybody. The decision you are taking will only lead to your doom. Be warned. She frowns at OJ. God's time? God's time. When will that God's time ever come? Do you want me to die a wretch waiting for God's time? Life is a struggle, and not to struggle is to be dead. That I need a job does not mean I disobey God. Why don't you understand this? Don't you want to live in a good and big flat? Wear decent clothing? Agitated. Let's face it, I think we're cheating ourselves. Being born again does not mean we should sit down and fold our arms waiting for God. Look at you and me. Is this stops, looking dejected and defeated, stands up and walks to where Alho is sitting on the cushioned chair. She places her hand on his shoulder tenderly. Look at me, my friend. Right now, I know what is going on in your mind. Ochole's evil machinations have taken over your heart. But let me inform you, if you don't know, that all those who relate with her are either dead or useless now. They have met their doom one way or the other, while she remains alive and is still looking for more prey. She is a Satan himself, looking for whom to devour. And please, don't get mixed up with her. Heed my warning and steer clear of her. Have you heard of the harvest of corruption? Any soul that sins shall surely die, my friend. Be warned, the harvest is not always a pleasant one for the sower. Let us manage whatever that is within our reach. Rely on God. He never fails his children. She bends lower. Have you forgotten our fellowship moments on campus? Cheer up and look up to Jesus. Be contented, okay? Both of them smile, embrace and hug each other. Light fades. Light shines on Akpara Hotel in Dakin. A reception room. Seated is Madame Huha, the proprietress of the hotel. She is a tall and bulky woman who, by her appearance, seems to be having a lot out of life. She has a velvety skin, not too fair, not too dark, but what could pass for ebony description. Right now, she is sitting. She is cut out for a well-fed cash woman who has achieved some degree of wealth. Seeing her sitting there, she casts the familiar sight of an Eastern Jakasan woman of high society. She has worn a number of golden bracelets on both hands, gold rings on four fingers of both hands. On both cheeks are three parallel marks, which looks like the whiskers of a cat. She is counting some naira notes, and on the table before her are the account books. Enter Ochole. Looking up and beaming at Ochole, the cheek. Where is Her Majesty emerging from? The lioness looks as if she has caught another prey. What's bubbling, baby? Are you just returning from work? Looking tired, she slumps into a nearby chair. Yes, so I am just coming from work. Work indeed. Yawning loudly. You see, I have told Chief that civil service job is nothing but time wasting. One keeps marking time. Those big fools squeeze you to your marrow, and then, like orange peel, they throw you away after they have had a good sack of you. And not only do they throw you away, they practically boot you out. No provisions for tomorrow on their timetable for the servants. Poor civil servants. Honestly, I pity them, especially during retirement. Amazingly, too, some of the civil servants are too honest with their job. But where is the reward? At the end of 31 days, you are given 2,000 naira to feed 6 children and solve hosts of family and domestic problems. I am sure the likes of your chief would never regret their retirement because of the chain of companies they float. Of course, most of them are dubious. All they do is stashing government money somewhere through some conduit pipes for the rainy day. And he has many of the pipes in people like you and your type around him there. She laughs, shrugging her shoulder. Boo, let's leave civil service for the real civil servants, not me. Let's talk about something else. No reasonable person depends on monthly salary in Jabu, except he or she comes to look at Zuma Rock and drink water afterwards. Suddenly, Madam Hoha, that reminds me, one of my friends is in town. She needs a job very desperately. I have asked her to come to Chief tomorrow. You know, as usual, the job stance is just a cover up. The real thing is how useful she can be to us. The chief will be over himself when he sees her. The old crook. He will want her immediately, even right there in his office. You know the Gagon has no scruples, especially with women. Indeed, I have never seen his type. She smiles. The usual works. You know these things. We will dangle this babe before the chief for a prize. He will enjoy her, and we can make use of her to get what we want. She will run the errands while we pick the bags. They laugh. Trust me, my duty is to convince her to play the ball with him. And then the usual commission keeps rolling in. Share you get. Shrugs her shoulders. Well, I have come to wait for Chief here. We plan to meet here, which involves money. Enters Chief Haladu Ade Amaka, the Honorable Minister of External Relations, looking elegant in flowing agbada and a cap to match. He has grown a big tummy. His friends fondly refer to him as the pregnant chief. He has an oval face, which is always covered with sweat no matter the weather. He breathes heavily, whether he is awake or asleep. He walks like a man with an enlarged scrotum, swinging his arms without control. The protruding tummy seems to propel him along. Ochole hurries to take his portfolio, which she carries to a seat in a corner, while Chief Aladuade Amaka tarries behind to chat with Madame Huha. With a broad smile and a husky voice, Madame de Madame. With equally a broad smile, it's a matter of cash, Chief. Aha! As for cash, no problem. Please send me 2 bottles of big stouts, chilled please, and 2 mortars of Ishi-Iwo, the usual, you know. Cousin. Ah, Chief, you're not being fair. What about me? Resignedly, okay, do not crucify me. I am not ready for another Biafran war this evening, oh. Just serve yourself whatever you want and add the bills. Now we are talking, Chief. You can join your girl. She is dying to have you already. Raises her voice. Ochole, take this easy, oh. I beg you. There he is. He is all yours. Chop him if you like. Gesturing Chief towards where Ochole is sitting. Chief moves towards Ochole. He draws out a chair and sits beside her. The waiter brings 2 bottles of big stout and the pepper soup. He bows after placing the items on the table and opening the drinks. He leaves. What's cooking, baby? Adjusts his chair and places his hand on the laps of Ochole. Feigning annoyance. Look, Chief, stop this baby thing and don't refer to me as baby again. Removes his hands from her laps. Just try and be yourself for once. Chief, I am not happy. There are a number of things worrying me. Leaning towards her, he puts his hands on her shoulder and almost in a whisper, like what? Why don't you cheer up? After all, I am sitting right beside you. Looking worried. I need 20,000 naira, Chief, to send to the village. I got a message yesterday that my mother is sick and is in the hospital. Draws his portfolio nearer to himself, presses the bottom open, and pulls out a bundle of money, which he throws on her laps. That's 20,000 naira, baby. You can send it now if you like, but please, let me enjoy my stout when it is still cold. You know, I like my drinks chilled. He proceeds to serve himself, picks the bundle, puts it in a bag, and begins to eat her pepper soup. She thanks Chief and begins to rub him on the thighs. Chief, guess what I have for you? Not showing interest, as he lifts his glass of beer to his mouth. Mmm, what is it? I hate quiz. I wasn't good at it in school. So whatever you have, just let me know without having to go into question and answer session. This is not a matter of quiz, Chief. There is a friend of mine. She's an applicant, and I know you will like her. Continues to massage Chief's laps. Begins to show interest. He looks up and smiles at her. You bitch, you will never stop teasing me. Now you have me hooked. Are you serious? He licks his mouth like a hungry hyena about to pounce on a prey. Chief, I am dead serious. She is coming to your office tomorrow for a job. I have assured her that you employ her. Chief, the ball is in your court. Play it well. But be gentle with her. She is my friend, oh. Laughs loudly. Joins in the laughter. Ochole, you are incredible. I hear you all the same. Tomorrow shall judge when I see her. Both of them make to stand up. Curtains fall. Harvest of Corruption. Scene 2. Police headquarters. Darken. In the office of the Commissioner of Police, the Commissioner, a tall athletic young man of about 40 years, he is dark in complexion. He has thin and slender fingers, red lips with black spots, which cover a broken set of colored teeth, which betray his facial outlook whenever he speaks. He is a chain smoker and an alcoholic addict. Looking worried, he is seated on a chair behind the table. The office is a big, well-furnished room. A 1997 calendar hangs on the wall facing him. Enters Chief through the outer office, where 3 policemen, a sergeant, and 2 constables are seen. As Chief enters, they begin to hail him with familiar nicknames of Babao. He responds accordingly and sprays them with naira notes as he passes into the inner office to meet the commissioner. Commissioner, drawing out one of the chairs and sitting down. You are looking worried. What is the matter? Moodily. Chief, good morning and welcome. What brings you here? I thought is not. Commissioner, I am sorry. I have lost my manners. You see, I could not even greet you properly. Stretching his hand for a shake. Good day, and how's the family? Is there any trouble? Taking the outstretched hands. Not quite, Chief. I am just contemplating on the frequent reports coming in from the ministries. And you see, Chief, your ministry is getting some negative and disturbing publicity lately. Shifting on his seat, I am worried about your relationship. Nobody loves negative publicity, you know. Picks up his packets of St. Maurice and a lighter. He lights a stick and inhales, letting out a cloud of smoke. Chief, I do hope you will soft pedal and begin to keep your hands and nose clean. Looking relaxed. Commissioner, I have always told you not to bother yourself unnecessarily about these things. Here, take this. He opens his portfolio and breaks out bundles of naira notes and places them on the table. The commissioner grabs them with the agility of lightning and puts them into his drawer. That should be able to suit your nerve. Commissioner, and if you need more, do let me know. That is for your fuel. I will send you something into your account as usual. Just do your best to cover me up, okay? So long as you do your bit, money cannot be your problem. Please, cheer up. You are certainly looking like what the cat dropped from its mouth last night. Not your usual self at all. I keep telling you that there is nothing money cannot buy or do. Just believe me. By the way, Chief, the general manager sends his regards through the boys. By the way, how did it go with my goose? My boys told me all went well. Chief, there was no problem at all. Your goods are safely in the warehouse. I directed a DPO there to personally supervise the operations. Feeling elated. That's my man. You know I have the feeling that I can always confide in you. So long as you continue to prove yourself worthy, I shall not hesitate to spoil you with money. You know that money is not my problem. Seeing an opening, he cashes in. Chief, the boys are getting more expensive to handle. They continue to demand for increased pay, and you know what to give for expenses. Please try to look into a possible increase in the overhead allocation. This smuggling racket is becoming too hot to handle, you know. The risk involved. Seemingly satisfied with the latest achievements of the commissioner, never mind the demands from the boys. I will increase the money. Suddenly frowning, but I must get absolute loyalty and excellent performance for my money. Understand that? You can also pass this to them that nobody monkeys with chief and goes scot-free. I assure you that I will always make them earn their pay. You are covered. See that the law is on my side, and I shall make sure that the good things are on your side too. And that means keeping your job too. And of course, the Inspector General's seat. I am sure you are still interested. Chief, I shall try, but you have to be careful. I have sensed the signal, and I know the danger sign when it appears on the dashboard. He shrugs his shoulders. I understand you. Actually, I just decided to call in and say hello on my way from the office. See you later. He stands up to leave. The commissioner stands up too and sees him to the door. Light fades for some minutes and shine on the office of Yakubu, an assistant commissioner of police, ACP, in charge of Central Intelligence Department, CIG, at Dakin. This office is a fairly large room with a table and a chair. On top of the table is a telephone and a number of paper curtains. The assistant commissioner is a stout young man of about 39 years, but heavily built, which gives his age deceptively at 50. He is always wearing a frown on his face, a no-nonsense man. He has a scar running down his flat face, and positioned on this flat face are two large eyeballs which keep bulging out as if they will come out of their sockets, especially when he is annoyed. He hardly laughs, believing that no serious man laughs randomly. He is a disciplinarian to the core, who cracked so many crime cases to his credit. Today, he has nowhere or nothing in particular to go or do, and so he sits down on his chair, stretching his legs across his table, in a relaxed position in his office, reading a newspaper. He squeezes his face, bangs on the table with a clenched fist, and springs up in a show of surprise, obviously touched by the articles he is reading. What? Sits down again. How can all this be happening without anybody having the willpower and the moral courage to stand up and say no? I cannot believe it. For one person to embezzle a whooping sum of 1.2 billion naira in one ministry alone is unbelievable. But how? Don't we have other departments in these ministries these days? I think I should begin to have some private chats with some of the officials of these ministries. Yes, I should. He hesitates. And now this chief, where does one place him? What really is his stock and trade in that ministry? With all these reports on his escapades with young girls in his ministry, the smuggling and drug rackets being associated with him, and this big one, I need more information. Yes, I will send out my boys to nose around. He stands up, reaches out to the phone, but hears a voice filtering through the window. He draws the receiver, moves closer to the window, and peeps outside. Outside, a madman, smartly dressed and carrying a heavy bundle of tightly wrapped bits of pieces of junk drooping over his face, is creating a scene by shouting and cursing nobody in particular. He laughs intermittently. All of you there. He waves his hand, not directed to anybody in particular. You know Phoebe like me? You know, see, I be rich. I be rich man, pointing upward to the luggage on his head. But I never steal anybody property. I no be thief because I dey satisfy for wetin I get. I be rich man as you see me. I dress fine. This coat, pointing at the tattered coat on him, cost me 100 naira, and I buy am for London. When I go there with the president, you know fit see, or you dey mad? Laughter, passing, but stops on seeing the madman. She hails him. Show boy, you are disturbing the neighborhood with your noise. You better stop this your noise, or else I shall call the police to arrest you for noise making and stealing from the neighborhood. Feigning annoyance and frowning her face, laughs huskily. You see waiting at the mean, pointing to nobody in particular. She used to be my darling wife when I poor. Laughs. But now I rich, pointing to himself. She no longer want me again. You see, she wants to arrest me for sleeping with her last year. I go go to Mr. President and ask him to appoint me president of this country. After that, I go steal all the money and give her. Pointing to her, Mr. President, I correct? I been tell the presidency I don't already appoint my ministers and councillors. I want the ministers to work in the local government and the councillors to be the ambassadors. Yes, I want run this country well. No stealing. Pointing to her. My wife, wetin them they call am? Sanitation. Yes. Environmental. Yes, na sanitation we need. Abi environmental by ourselves, not the country. Laughs loudly, moves towards the tree and sit down. Moving towards him. Showboy, I think you're talking too much. And you're talking nonsense. I am going. I can't waste my time listening to you. When you are poor again, you can come and marry me. She laughs and claps her hands on him and leaves. ACP Yakubu releases the window's blind and goes back to his seat. He sits down and ruminates on what he has heard so far. He tries to juxtapose the madman's ambitions and criticisms of the society, his prescriptions and the realities on the ground, especially what he just read from the paper before him. Sighs, what a world we are in. A madman, having the sense to analyze the ills of the society so accurately. I think the madman himself symbolizes the country, which is ridden with madness and lawlessness, a real craze for money that needs psychiatric therapy. For the fact that a madman could prescribe cure and even have the sense to judge between stolen and legitimately acquired properties clearly pictures the state of rottenness that this country has degenerated into. Yes, I think what we really need now, according to the madman, and I do agree with him, is to allow madmen to rule this country of madness, since the so called sane people are without conscience and scruples. Maybe this will bring a new development and ethnic orientation towards the reversion of our already bastardized social cultural values. Stands up and begins to pace up and down in deep thought. Yes, we need a rebirth that will lead us into a new dawn. Picks the receiver and begins to dial. Light fades on ACP Yakubu, and the stage remains dark for some minutes to show time lapse, and then shines on my summer in the lobby of the Secretariat complex. Inspector Inaku is discussing with a young man. He is a clerk in the Ministry of External Relations, slim and hungry looking, but well dressed with a white shirt over a pair of black trousers and a black tie to match. In his front pockets are an array of bureaus of three colors: blue, red, and black. His shoes have given way slightly by the sides, a common sight often referred to as chopping alignment among village school teachers. Dressed in mufti. My name is Inaku. What is yours? My name is Ayo. I work as a clerk in the Ministry of External Relations. My office is over there. He points to the far end of the corridor. That is good. I am sure Chief Haladu Adiamakar is your minister. Yes, that's right. Do you know him? Ignoring the question, are you aware of the 1.2 billion naira embezzlement scandal going on in your ministry? No, sir. Pretending. I am not aware. And please, who are you? May I know you? Yes, but don't be afraid. I shall make your day for you if you cooperate. What is your salary per month as a clerical assistant? Beginning to rub his forehead and looking sideways. My monthly salary is 2,500 naira take home. Okay, do not worry. I shall give you 2,000 naira right now if you will give me the information I need. The clerk looks greedily at the inspector. He shakes his head, indicating willingness. I shall tell you anything you need. Aside to himself, after all, the bastard has cheated us enough. He collects everything and embezzles alone. He has to die alone if this means exposing his secrets. These big men never think that we, the junior officers, have our problems to solve too. They think we do not need money other than our monthly salary. That's my boy. I shall give you my address, and you will get all the relevant documents and vouchers related to the amounts in question and photocopy them for me. Meanwhile, here is 1,000 naira. I shall pay you the remaining when you bring all the papers I need. Be a good boy, okay? He takes the money and the address. Thank you. You shall expect me tomorrow evening, unfailingly. Bye. He disappears. Light fades for some minutes to indicate time difference and then shines on the house of Justice Odili at Oyokolo, the living room. The judge is a round and robust man with a pot belly that seems to house a set of triplets. His face shines with beads of sweat all over it. Clearly visible are the numerous scars of smallpox. He is bald-headed and of average height. He is relaxing on a sofa, reading a newspaper. Suddenly, there is a knock on the door, and Chief Haladu Adiamaka enters in a flowing agbada, well embroidered with white cotton thread and a cap to match. My lord, good evening, my very good friend. Springs up. Chief, Chief, what brings you to my house at this time of the day? My lord, as usual, I am here to pay my respects and homage, because, in your case, it is a spoon that must always go to the pot. Has it any choice? Poor spoon. Laughs loudly. I see. In that case, you are most welcome. But Chief, you are not a common man. All the same, what can I offer you? I mean, what drink? Please do sit down. Gesturing to a seat in front of him, takes a seat. My lord, if there's whiskey in the house, I shall prefer whiskey tonight. I think the cold weather calls for that. Justice Odili rises and moves to the cabinet and brings out a bottle of whiskey and two glasses. He places them on the table and pours himself a shot. He invites his guest to help himself. Chief does the same, and both of them proceed to drinking their glasses. My lord sips his drink. I have come with a little cooler for you. I know that you will like what I have brought for you. It is in my car. You can call your boys to go to the booth to collect them. Meanwhile, here is a little cash for your fuel. He opens his portfolio, brings out a bundle of naira notes, and hands them over to Justice Odili, who receives them with a show of gratitude. My lord, more will come so long as you continue to protect me. This is to tell you that I am not only a great man, but a grateful man as well to good people like you. I can't thank you enough. Smiling broadly, once again, you are welcome, but all I can say is that you should be careful. He leaves for the inner room with the money, raises his voice. My lord, I think I should be going. I shall find time to calm down on a more social get together and chat in a relaxed mood. He gulps his drink and stands up to leave. Emerging from the inner room. Oh no, no, Chief, you should spend some more time with me. Maybe I should bring beer for you instead. No, 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 my lord. I shall be back next time. For now, bye, my lord. He moves towards the door. Curtain falls. Harvest of corruption. Ministry of External Relations. Maisama. Office of Chief Aladuwade Amaka, the Honorable Minister, enter Aloho and Ochole into the adjoining office of the Secretary of the Minister, Mrs. Obi. They move to her and greet Mrs. Obi, a lady of average height, slim with a good figure. She has on a pair of eyeglasses. She is fair complexioned, which is toned delicately. After the usual exchange of greetings, Madam, this is Aloho. She wants to see Chief. He is already aware of her coming and is expecting her. Is she on appointment? You can see all these people waiting. They too want to see the minister. She can wait, please. Resumes her typing. Madam, try and understand. I have just informed you that Chief is expecting her. Can you do us a favor of finding out from Chief himself? Hesitates. Well, just because of you, I shall risk it. He has given a standing order that no visitor should be allowed before 12 noon, no matter the agency or status of the visitor. However, for your sake, I shall go in and find out if he will receive you now. Meanwhile, you may sit down there. She stands up and walks past them into the office. Thank you, madam. Taps lightly on the adjoining door, enters and moves into the inner office. The room smells sweet, and an array of trophies are displayed lavishly on the shelves, which portrays excellent performances, either by the Honorable Minister or his predecessors. He is sitting behind his large and well-polished mahogany desk, obviously busy attending to the mail of the day. Sir, Ochole, the chief admin officer, is here with a lady who wants to see you. She says she is on appointment. Shall I bring her in? With a frown, he raises his face, pretending not to remember the appointment. Appointment? Ochole and a lady? Did I have any such appointments? Mrs. Obi? And I think I remember giving you an instruction not to allow any visitor in before 12 noon, no matter who or what he or she is. I cannot remember such appointments, sir. And I do remember your instruction, but I have given exceptions to Ochole, knowing your relationship with her. Finding himself cornered whenever the issue of his relationship with Ochole is mentioned. Never mind, let them in. I shall see them. You have disrupted my concentration anyway. Please let them in. But have it in mind that I shall fire you if you flout my directives again. Feign annoyance. Yes, sir. She leaves, opens the door, and faces the girls. The chief will see you too. In unison, thank you. They enter the office. Ochole gently closes the door behind her and moves towards Chief Haladuwade Amaka. Good morning, Chief. You seem to be very busy this morning. I want to introduce my friend to you. She is Aloho and she is looking for a job. Chief, you remember that I told you about her earlier. I shall be grateful if you will employ her for my sake, sir. Ignoring Ochole's show of intimacy. Young lady, what is your name? Chief, my name is Aloho. I graduated from the University of Azuka and I read mass communication. In fact, I have a BCS Honors degree with second class upper division. That's good. He nods his head. You are the type I am looking for. Your friend Ochole has told me everything about you. I shall employ you. Do you have your credentials with you? Yes, sir. I have them here. She brings some papers out from an envelope and hands them over to the chief. Looks at the papers and shakes his head, indicating satisfaction. He hands them back to her. Thanks to Ochole. I am satisfied with your friend's papers, but let her apply formally and bring it tomorrow, and let her see the permanent secretary now. Take this note to him. Jots down something which he folds and hands over to her. Thank you, sir. I am most grateful, sir. I shall employ you here, and you will work directly under me in my office as one of my protocol officers. How about that? You will handle my protocol arrangements. I think with your area of specialization, you can handle that, can't you? Showing surprise and happiness, she genuflects over and over in appreciation. Thank you, Chief. I cannot thank you enough. God will reward your goodness, Chief. Thank you. Ochole will take you now and furnish you with all the details of your assignment. Addresses Ochole. You may take her to your office, but you must take her to see the permanent secretary to formalize the appointment, okay? Call my secretary on your way out, please. Yes, Chief. Thank you, Chief. She turns to Aloho. Let us go to my office and we shall discuss. Turns to Chief again. Bye, Chief. Good day, he says without looking up. See me there at 4 p.m., okay? Bye. Showing that she gets the message. Yes, Chief. And they leave the office and enter the secretary's office. Sir, Ochole informs me that you want to see me. Yes, we are about to have a new staff. She is in fact going to be one of my protocol officers. See what you can do to assist her settle down. The permanent secretary will handle the necessary appointment formalities, okay? Yes, sir. You may go. Resumes his writing. Exit Mrs. Obi. Light fades. Light shines on Ajayi's room. She is sitting on a low stool, preparing some vegetables. Enter Aloho. Good day, Ojayi. What are you cooking? Looking happy and excited. I am preparing some soup for our lunch. You're welcome. How was your interview? Aloho, my dear. You're looking so happy. What's up? Any luck? Can you bet? I have landed myself a job. And can you imagine? It is not an ordinary job. I have just been offered a job as one of the protocol officers of the Honorable Minister of External Relations. She claps her hands and jumps onto the bed, shrieking joyously. Protocol officer? Surprise. You, a protocol officer? What do you know about the job of a protocol officer? By the way, who is this chief? Stands up. Oh, chief? He is an honorable minister of the ministry where Ochole works, a very cheerful and considerate man. God will bless him. Frowning her face. Ochole again? Aside to herself. This name keeps bouncing back like a bad coin, facing Aloho directly. So you're not prepared to listen to my advice, eh? Look, Aloho, If you love yourself, keep away from Ochele. I know her more than you do. In any case, congratulations on your newfound job. Look, don't say I did not warn you. God is my witness. I have done my duty. You are a big girl, and you can decide for yourself. Whatever has come over you, only God will save you. I think like a dog, which is going astray. You are deaf to all advice. My prayer for you is that God will guide you. She resumes her vegetable cutting. Now we are talking, Ojeyi. You should always think positively and do not be pessimistic, okay? God will take control. I have been looking for a job all this while, and here is one. Do you want me to throw it away? Don't you pity me? Don't you want me to actualize my dream? Come on, Ojeyi, give me a chance. At least you have something doing. What have I? How long do I have to depend on you for everything? I still believe that God is in control. Just pray for me, okay? I have not deviated from the path. All I need is a job like you or any other person. Aloha, my friend. I wish you luck. You know I love you, and I do not want you to come to harm. I need it. By the way, I shall go out with Ochole this evening. Can I borrow one of your dresses? I need to dress fine. Shrugs her shoulders in a defeated manner. You can go with Ochole or your chief to your grave if you like. Just be careful, that's all. Shrugs her shoulders. Light fades briefly and shines on Madame Hohe's hotel reception. She's as usual, busy making her entries into her cash book and counting money. Enters Chief in his usual manner, with an air of authority and affluence. He appears every inch domineering in his flowing agbada. Good evening, Madame Hoha. How was the day? Have you seen Ocheli and a friend today? Raises her face up. No, Chief. Good evening, Chief. I have not seen you. Are you expecting them here, Chief? Yes, and they are supposed to be waiting for me, and not the other way round. Checking his watch for the time. Meanwhile, please let me have my usual drink. Okay, Chief, your orders are my duties. She calls out to a boy to carry out the orders. Enter Ochole and Aloho. Good afternoon, Madam Hoha. Please meet my friend. Her name is Aloho. She now works for Chief as one of his protocol officers. That's splendid. Aloho, you're welcome. I hope you're enjoying your new job. Thank you, Madam. I am pleased to meet you. I hope I will too. But time will tell, Madam. Chief is waiting for you girls over there. She points to the place, and they move there and sit down, facing Chief. Madam Hoha, please bring something for the girls. Ochole, what does your friend drink? She turns to her friend. Let's settle down first. What would you like to drink? Feeling shy. Actually, I do not feel like drinking anything. Nonsense. Ochole, please order something for her. Okay, Chief, I shall take malt. That's my girl. Why not try stout? It will make you feel real good. At least, that's what the advert says. Shaking her head emphatically. No, Chief, malt will do. Thank you, Chief. Chief, let's celebrate her new job, or what do you say? Okay, that's my girl. Madam, please let's have some pepper soup too. The drinks and pepper soup are brought, and they begin to eat and drink. Now to business. Ochole, I do hope you have briefed your friend on her schedule. She will travel on Friday, that is, in 2 weeks' time to the United States. As usual, she will deliver some vital documents to my man in the States. Yes, Chief. She is prepared. She has been briefed on her schedule. She likes it, Chief. That's my girl. That's all right. So she should be prepared. Her travel documents will be ready in a week's time. I shall leave you girls to discuss the details. He finishes his drinks and makes to leave. Aloho dear, please, you will excuse me for a while. I have an important meeting to attend in an hour's time. Addressing Ochole. Please, Ochole, you can order more drinks and pepper soup for both of you. Thank you, Chief. As the Chief. Ochole. showing a sign of surprise and protest. You never mentioned any trip to USA as part of my job. What is all this about? What am I supposed to deliver there? And why the suddenness of the trip? Ochole, indeed, you are taking me by surprise, and you do not even give me a chance to think for myself. Draws closer to her and places her hands on her shoulders tenderly. Aloho, your trip to US is part of your protocol schedules. You wanted a job, and here is one. Please do not throw it away. My dear, I shall never do anything to hurt you. All I am doing is for your own good. You will not regret it. After all, many girls are looking for these opportunities, especially to travel out of the country and to the United States of America for that matter, God's own country. Imagine that. Come on, cheer up. Now you have it. Do not lose it. Anyway, let's eat our pepper soup. It's so delicious. I do not want it to get cold. She takes off her hands from her shoulders and begins to eat. Aloho has suddenly lost appetite and is now toying with the soup with a spoon. The light fades for a few minutes to show time lapse and shines on Ojeyi sitting on the bed, cleaning her nails. She looks up and stops what she is doing. Enters Aloho. Hello, what are you doing? It's late into the night and you are still awake. Hope nothing? Or are you preparing for a beauty contest? You're welcome, my dear. Beauty contest indeed. Have you seen a gorilla contesting for beauty? How was your outing? You know I just cannot sleep while you are still outside. I have to find something doing to keep awake as I await your return. No hen can sleep with its kites around her, especially when her cheeks are not hidden her warnings not to wander far away. Ojeyi, darling, you talk about my security as if I am a 10-year-old girl. What did our people say about the dark fowl and the kite? She keeps quiet, and the kite never takes her ducklings. Have you forgotten that? Of course, I can take care of myself. My dear, Jabu is fast becoming another Gbosa. You cannot roam about anyhow in the night. My sister, the world is turning upside down. Anyway, how was your outing before I forget? My sister, can you imagine my trouble? In 2 weeks' time, I shall be traveling to USA. Flabbergasted. To do what there? And why the suddenness in the arrangement? I am to deliver documents to somebody in the United States. At least, that was what I was told during the dinner. And when I protested, Ochole calmed me down stating that it was a protocol aspect of the job. Ojeyi, I am lost. I am not even given a chance to say anything for myself. Deep in thought, Ochole, Ochole, Ochole. Aside, I smelt a rat all along. I know it. I sense it. I can see it coming. Suddenly aware that she's with somebody, she turns to Aloho. My dear, what did the Bible say on this? Lost in thought too. What did it say? I just can't think properly now. When temptations come near you, do not stand to argue because you will not win. Just flee. Aloho, are you ready to flee from your job? God will find you another job. You will not find peace with this job, only regrets. Why back a dangerous horse when you know that in so doing, your neck is at stake? But the chief said that the travel documents will be ready in a week. So what am I supposed to do? I do not even know what I am to take there. Why should I bolt away just like that? Resigningly, you are traveling then. Well, I have to. I am in it already. What can I do? I wish I can help myself. I do not want to be looked upon as an ingrate, one moment requesting for a job, another moment abandoning it. Infuriated, obstinate girl, you are really determined to kill yourself. Don't be silly, Aloho. What do you mean, what can I do? You have the choice and the chance now that you have not committed yourself in any way. Just go to Aloho and tell her that you are no longer interested in the job, that you are resigning. Simple quit. No regret. Adamant. You know I cannot do that. This is a ministry, not a company. You have to give a month's notice. Month's notice, my foot. Look, don't say I did not warn you. I am beginning to doubt your real intentions in searching for a job. You have been bought over by material desires. I am sure you have gone to see Ochole's house and her ostentatious style of living, and you want to live like her. Not so. I wish you luck, but be informed that all that glitters is not gold. If you must return to the world, so be it. But remember Law's wife and her fate. I want to sleep. I am tired. She draws the razor blade she was using and stands up and reaches out for a nightgown. Light fades to show passage of time and shines on Chief, Ochole and Aloho at the airport lounge. At the airport, a large crowd at the departure lounge and people moving from one point to the other, obviously checking one thing or the other, and little groups are here and there, discussing, laughing, and shaking hands. Chief, Ochole, and Aloho are standing at one end of the lounge. Chief, in what looks like a tete-a-tete with the girls, hands over a black portfolio to Aloho. To Aloho, you have your papers and the briefcase. Be smart and confident on the journey. I shall keep track of you on phone. As soon as you get there, call me, okay? Bye and safe journey. With finality in his voice, remember, I don't tolerate failures, but I have a way I reward hard work and success, so be careful. Moves closer to Aloho and places her hands on his shoulders. Aloho dear, cheer up and safe journey. Remember, even roses have thorns, and honey is bees. Exit Chief and Aloho. Suddenly, there is a shrill voice from the loudspeakers inviting passengers on international flights to the United States of America to move to the check-in desk for boarding formalities. Aloho picks up a briefcase, straightens her dress, adjusts herself, and walks smartly to the checkpoint for the customs formalities. Madame, your bag, please. Innocently, Aloho hands over the briefcase to him. He opens it with his mouth wide open in disbelief. Madame, what is this? Pointing to the wrap neatly stacked inside. What is what? I don't understand. Showing irritation. I mean, these wraps. What are they, and what are you doing with them? Looking surprised at the officer's infuriated face. I don't understand what you're talking about. This briefcase is for my boss, and I am to deliver it to someone in the United States. That's all. How do you expect me to know? Madame, stop pretending. They are substances which I am suspecting to be cocaine, and you will be in real trouble with the law if I am proved right at the end by the appropriate authority. Have you ever heard of the Jakarta Drug Law Enforcement Agency, JDLEA? You will go for a chat with them and explain how you came about these substances. Let's go. He makes to drag Aloho along with him. Visibly agitated. Cocaine? Me? Carrying cocaine? No, officer, that's not true. Please, I want to call my boss. Please, give me time to think. I am really confused. I did not bargain for this at all. Sobbing. Young woman, do not worry. You will have all the time to call whoever you want later. Just be patient. Follow me. Or do you want me to call in the police? Police? No. Why? I shall come with you. Follows. Light shines to show the chamber of Justice Odile, a small but luxuriously furnished room with a large table and equally magnificent bookshelf with all kinds of law books and reports. Enter Chief Haladu Amaka, fuming. Justice Odile tries to calm him down, showing him to a chair. Chief, you seem to be taking too many things for granted. Why did you leave the poor girl unprotected? By the way, what did you do to the state prosecutor? Because it is unlike him to absent himself from court, especially on a sensitive case like this. I did my homework, my lord. I do not know why the good-for-nothing custom officer who has been on my payroll for God knows how long, suddenly decides to leave his duty post at that material time after all the pre-information given to him. He must pay for this. I swear it. As for the prosecutor, my lord, do not worry. I have taken care of him the usual way. There is no time for swearing. What are you going to do now? My lord, get this girl out for me, and I promise that such a mistake will never happen again. Just do whatever you can. My lord, money is no problem. Remember suddenly, dangling the bait. My lord, that car of yours, I shall handle it. Chief, this is not an easy case, but I shall try as usual, and you have to be reasonable this time. The heat has been turned on, and this is not a child's play. If this girl squeals, you are in for it. That's no problem. Sensing the trap of blackmail, but could do nothing about it. I shall come to the house with 500,000 naira this evening. That's all right. In fact, I will discuss with their lawyers, and the case will be dismissed for want of evidence. The amount should be raised to 1 million naira to take care of all the people involved in the case. You see? Fuming. You old crook. But calms himself. Don't worry, I shall bring the money in the evening. Highly irritated. In that case, do not worry. I shall know what to do. Your girl will be out, discharged and acquitted for want of evidence. You may even have the ground to sue the defamation of character on your behalf. Anyway, we shall discuss the details of that later. Thank you, my lord. Sneers and shakes his hand. Bye. Shrugs his shoulders. He stands up and picks up his gown and begins to dress up for the courtroom. Light fades and shines on the courtroom. Justice Odile is seated. The hall is packed, full with spectators. All available spaces are taken up by people, some hanging around by the windows. A lot of publicity has been generated in the case in the last 2 weeks. The registrar, a stout elderly-looking man, dressed in an Elizabethan age coat, which seems slightly undersized considering his size and age, is sitting directly in front of the high seat of the judge, a position which makes him to raise his eyes up and backwards each time he wants to respond or address to his lordship. The court usher, a dwarfish-looking elderly man, is in a well-starched uniform of khaki and a pair of brown socks that go up to the knees, is standing by the door, while Aloho, disheveled and completely emaciated, is sitting down with a handkerchief in her hand. She blows her nose intermittently. In the last 1 week, she has lost weight considerably. Right now as she sits there, she looks pale and dejected, a complete shadow of her former self. Looking stern over the rim of his eyeglasses, hanging from the edge of his nose, typical of magistrates when they are determined to get the truth from a witness or accused. He almost startled the registrar when he called out his name. Registrar, please call the first case for today. My lord, it is a case of one Miss Aloho versus the state. The fact of the case is that Miss Aloho is charged for carrying substances suspected to be cocaine, an offense which is punishable under the law of the land. It was alleged that she was arrested at the airport on her way to the United States of America when luck ran out of her. The case, cutting him short, is the accused in court? Yes, my lord, she is in court. Aloho, then let her step forward into the dock for the case to begin. Where is the prosecutor? The prosecutor is not here, but the defendant's counsel are in court. Look here, Mr. Registrar. Next time, when I ask a question, I expect a direct answer. I know the difference between a prosecutor and a defense counsel. Do you understand? In that case, the case is adjourned till the prosecutor is present in court. This court will not be accused of any kangaroo hearing. Let it be said here and clear that the recent fashion where prosecutors and defense counsel drop into the court casually to apply for adjournment of cases is being viewed by the court as irresponsible and unbecoming of supposedly learned gentlemen. The court henceforth will no longer tolerate such irresponsible acts. Registrar, let me have the file. Looking surprised. But my lord, the state prosecutor came to your office this morning, feigning annoyance and looking sternly at the registrar. If I have to warn you again, it shall be recorded against you as contempt of law. You are to speak only when you are spoken to. Understand? Now let me have the file. Yes, my lord, not knowing what else to do. That is better. And next time, don't tell all that you see, because you may not be able to explain the difference between what you actually see and what you imagined you saw. Addressing the court. Now back to the case at hand. For want of evidence, and for the fact that in law, the onus of proof lies with the complainant, and as can be seen by all here, the prosecutor is not in court and cannot be located presently. Since the allegations being levied against the accused here is of grave consequences and too sensitive that we cannot toy with, and since the prosecutor is not present, this goes to establish the fact that there is no seriousness in the charges being brought before the Honorable Court. Therefore, this case is thrown out. The accused is thereby discharged and acquitted. Hayes his gavel on the table and stands up. Court. Light face and brightens on Assistant Commissioner Yakubu's office. He is reading a newspaper. Suddenly, he screams, stands up, pacing up and down. He then moves towards the window and peeps inside. He moves back and stands in front of his table, thrusts his hand into his pocket, and begins to mutter inaudibly, and finally bursts out. Wonder shall never end in this country. Soliloquizing. How can that old crook of a judge acquaint and discharge a very clear case of cocaine pushing? What evidence is he looking for? Shakes his head. This country is rotten through and through. We shall try our best to cleanse it, I swear. This is the more reason why we should be thorough with our investigation on the embezzlement allegation. Yes, we must continue with the investigation. I will see how he can escape this again. I am coming, and we shall never give them the opportunity of looking for evidence again. We shall provide all the needed facts and figures. I assure these crooks that there will be no hiding place for any golden fish this time. When the cuckoo cries for rain, it should not complain when its feather is drenched in the process. Enter Constable Ojo. Constable Ojo is a lanky-looking young man of athletic build. He has very small eyes, which are hidden inside the sockets. When he looks at a person, there is an uneasy feeling that penetrates through the person's very soul, a situation which makes most of the suspects to crack out of fear before any serious pressure is exerted on them. He is always smartly dressed and has a knack for breaking seemingly mysterious cases. Right now, he has in one hand newspaper cuttings of various sizes, and in another, a file containing his review of the various headlines and their content, a job that has become his schedule. Salutes. Were you talking to somebody, sir? I heard you talking. Constable, at ease and relaxed. I am just soliloquizing, adjusting his chair and pointing to the table for Constable Joe to drop the papers. Come to think of it, absent-minded and addressing nobody in particular. What is really wrong with our legal system? Have we come to a point where any money bag or highly placed individual will and can toy with the judiciary and get away with any crime committed, no matter how heinous the crime may be? This is ridiculous. Sir, what is more surprising is why the state prosecutor and the defense counsel were both absent at the different times the case came up. I think something went wrong somewhere, and I am of the opinion that we start from that angle. If one gets hold of the bastards, they will certainly squeal, especially when the heat is turned on them. Shaking his head in disagreement, I think I disagree with you. That case has been thrown out of court, and that is final. However, I am going to work on the embezzlement allegations going on. If the old crook is left off the hook of the cocaine rackets, certainly he will be nailed after we have concluded our investigations. Have you forgotten the life skill smuggling going on? There is a pointer to him too. Curtain falls. Harvest of corruption. Scene 4. Oje's room. Aloho is lying down on the bed. She is sobbing, and Oje is consoling her. The atmosphere is tense, and life seems to stand still. Oje is sitting beside her with a white handkerchief in her hand, which she uses to wipe her face at intervals. Now you can see where your protocol job has landed you. You will not listen to me or take my advice. Sobs. I wish I know what's happening to me. Oje, look at me. How can I be pushing cocaine? That's not what I bargained for. I wish I listened to you in the first place. Can you ever forgive me? I have been a fool, and like a pawn in the hands of expert chess players, I was moved from one side of the board to the other. Right now, I do not care what happens to me. This country is bad. How can the judge say he discharged me for want of evidence? I wish to God I know what Chief must have done to him. I am sure they are both collaborators in the same game. Everything was with me red-handed. Oje, can you believe that? That Chief is a devil, the very Satan himself. I am yet to understand what is really going on. I feel like a lamb being slaughtered on the altar of corruption. Oh, God save me, she sobs. Oje, what pains me most is that, in all this drama, I am not even given a chance to choose my own role to play. Calm down, Aloho. The world has not ended. You can still pick up the pieces. You can. Please pull yourself together and stop acting like a baby. Oji, you may not understand my position. I was even lured into having an affair with Chief. Ever since my detention, I've been feeling funny, and I am sure I am pregnant. I think I have started a harvest of corruption, which you mentioned before, and I have the feeling that I am going to reap it in hundredfolds. Can you understand my predicament now? Preg what? She stands up and faces her on the bed. Aloho, are you so daft? After all my warnings to you, is this greed or what? What happens to your religious beliefs and practices? You must be crazy. Just 3 months in Jabu, and you have ruined your life like this. Aloho, why? Sympathetically, just why? She begins to sob along with Aloho. So what are you going to do now? I think I shall abort it. I do not want to go back to that office anymore. In fact, the very memory of Ochole, or the chief, gives me the nightmare. You can see what I mean. I just cannot go back there. This harvest is too much for me, and I just cannot store it up. But you know this is against our Christian doctrine. It is a sin. Please think twice over your decision. I know, but I have gone beyond understanding Christian doctrine. I feel like the black sheep of my family and the faith I proclaim. I lost my senses the very day I met Ochole. I shall die or remain to dread that fateful day. Let me take the honorable, or, if you like, dishonorable way out. It is my harvest and my destiny, and I shall carry it in my hands. Ojeyi, she holds her hands. You have been so wonderful to me, and I shall pray for you. Just keep being what you have been, a good girl, and God will bless you. I shall always pray for you. Ojeyi, I still remember that the scripture says, "Blessed are those who comfort, for they shall be comforted." I was seeking shelter. You gave me a house. Hungry, you fed me. Anxious, you calmed my fears. Imprisoned, you visited me. Oh, Ojeyi, my love will remain with you forever. Sobs. I am told life is sweeter over there, and I am tired of this life. I want to go. My harvest went bad before I could even think of storing them. I do not blame anybody. I hope my calamity will be a lesson to others who find themselves in my position. I was desperate, and in my desperation, I fell a prey to the glamour of the world. Why are you talking like this? Please, pull yourself together. It will be alright. This is a lesson, and it is better that it is the content of the pot that spills, not the pot that is broken. We can still make amends. Wipe Saloho's face with a handkerchief. Light fades. Light shines on the office of the Commissioner of Police. He is sitting on a swivel chair behind a table, gently rocking himself in a semicircle. As Yakubu, the Assistant Commissioner of Police in charge of CID, enters, he stops turning the chair and welcomes him. ACP Yakubu salutes and stands at attention. Good day, sir. How's the job going? You're welcome, Commissioner. They shake hands. Please do sit down. Draws out a chair that is offered him and sits down. There is a serious issue at hand, and I want to see you before making the next move. Suddenly serious and attentive. Okay, Yakubu, I am all ears. Fire on. Are you aware of this man called Chief Haladuwade Amaka? He is the Honorable Minister in the Ministry of External Relations. I understand the recent airport drug case was traced to him, which of course has been hashed up by the courts. Anyway, that is by the way now. Are you aware of the 1.2 billion naira embezzlement scandal rocking the ministry? Commissioner, calm down. Let's take these allegations one after the other. The issue of the scandal in the ministry. I want to assure you that my boys are already investigating the facts behind the allegations. As for the other allegations, the court, as you rightly said, has handled it. Something will be done. And you know, this thing takes some frowning. Sir, take some what? Can you imagine what the public opinion heats up to? Public opinion, my foot. Stands up. Commissioner, look, I know my job, and I won't have you or any other self-appointed custodian of public opinion come here to bamboozle me in a show of holier-than-thou attitude. Sits down. Calmly. Sir, I cannot be intimidated. I know my job too, and I know my limitations as well. What I am telling you is that this man, Chief Haladuwade Amaka, or whatever he is called, the entire ministry, and in fact, all the other ministries as well must be investigated. But if you think otherwise, then I shall have no alternative than to go ahead and do what I want to do. Period. I only want you to be in the picture. I have enough clues to make me take action. Men of the State Security Service have been duly informed about this. So, whether you cooperate or not, is your piece of cake. I understand that a panel is about to be set up by the President to investigate a flood of petitions besieging the cabinet. Stands up. I warn you to stay clear of that ministry, or any other ministry for that matter, or you will be biting more than you can chew. If you insist, then don't be surprised at what hits you. Get that into your arrogant head, okay? Calmly. Sir, you cannot threaten me, and do not bother at what hits me. But I shall ask you this, since only those who have skeletons in their cupboard need fear. He lowers his face to him. Sir, do you have any skeletons in your cupboard? Well, as a friend, I have come to warn you to start some sanitation exercise on it, because these boys will open the cupboard so wide that the skeleton will not only smell, it will stink. He salutes and storms out of the office. Commissioner, please wait. Where are you? Stands up and moves to the door, holds the door ajar, and peeps outside. He slams it shut, and in a defeated fashion, he walks to his seat, slumps into the chair, sighs heavily, cursing under his breath. Curtain falls. Harvest of Corruption. Scene 5. A reception room in the Wazobia Hospital. Mabu. Halimatu, a nursing sister in a well-starched white apron, with a stopwatch and bureaus of 2 different colors decorating the front left breast pocket, is sitting on a high stool behind the counter. She has on both sides of her cheek 3 tribal marks that run from the mouth to the ears. She is dark complexioned and of average height. Enters Aloho, looking moody and pensive. Good evening, nurse. Please, I want to see the doctor. She seems to have been jerked awake. Good evening. You may wait there, pointing to a chair. Please sit down. There is a patient with him right now. You will enter next when the patient comes out. Thank you. I shall wait. Goes to the chair and sits down. Taking a card, she climbs down from a high stool and goes to Aloho. Madam, Can you please fill this card? Hands her both the card and the bureau. Just then, the patient comes out. Madam, if you are finished filling the card, may I have it please? Aloho hands over the card to her. She takes it and enters through the adjoining door. Suddenly, she reappears and signals Aloho to go in, stands up and moves in. Thank you, nurse. Light fades and shines on the doctor, sitting down in the consulting room of the doctor. Good evening, doctor. Doctor, a young man of 35 years, is sitting behind the table. There is a chair behind the table meant for patients. Slightly bald-headed, doctor is fair in complexion. Good evening, madam. Sit down. What is the problem? Sit down. Doctor, conspiratorially, can I confide in you? It is very important that I have your word. Look straight into the eyes of the doctor, showing interest. Young woman, you can trust me. It's against the ethics of our profession to disclose information given to us in confidence, especially if such information has to do with the personal well-being of the patient concerned. So, you can trust me. He adjusts his seat. Thank you, doctor. Reassured. My name is Aloho, and I have a problem. Right now, I have a feeling that I am pregnant, and I do not want to keep the baby. In fact, doctor, I am not ready for a family life yet. Please, I want a D and C. Can you help me? Hesitates. My dear young lady, you know that it is against our profession to do such things. Indeed, it is criminal, and one can end up in jail for life and even lose his medical license forever. Please, doctor, help me. I am ready to pay any amount to charge. Showing interest at the mention of money. Okay, lady, how much can you pay? I shall assist you, even though I am taking a risk. The whole life itself is a risk, doctor. I shall give you whatever you charge. In that case, can you afford 10,000 naira? In fact, I won't touch it for anything less. You may try another hospital. Opens her bag and brings out a bundle, which she throws at him across the table. Doctor, here is your fee. Looking at the bundle on the table with disbelief, he picks it up and stares at the bundle for a while, shrugs his shoulder, and puts it into his drawer. Young lady, you will go and come back in 2 weeks' time. Since you are so sure, I need not conduct another test, which I must admit is quite unprofessional. However, that will be looked into when you come back. Please, do not eat anything when you are coming, okay? You may go in there for the preliminary investigations. By the way, how old is the pregnancy? It's 3 months going, doctor. What? Do you want to kill yourself? At 3 months, the fetus is already a full-grown baby. Please, have a second thought. However, go into the inner room, undress, and lie down on the table. I shall soon be with you. Though it is risky, as it has entered the 3rd month. Shrugs his shoulder. You said it yourself, young lady. Life is a risk, and money is the ultimate goal of the struggle through it. Aloho ignores his comment, stands up, and moves into the inner room. She is followed shortly by the doctor. After a long while, doctor appears in the outer room looking downcast and agitated. Oh, God forgive me. Is this a trap or what? God, poor girl, whatever is her reason for this dangerous decision? Emerges from the inner room with the doctor. Doctor, I shall be going. Expect me in 2 weeks' time as arranged. Jerked back from his deep thought. Oh yes, I shall be ready for you then. Remember not to eat anything, not even water. Understand? Yes, doctor. Good. But young lady, kindly remind me of your name again. Aloho. Yes. Pardon my short and porous memory. May I be personal with you, please? Taken aback. On what? Shrugs his shoulder. Well, okay, about what? About your life. Are you married? If you are, I am just wondering why you have decided to take this decision when you know it is a dangerous thing to do. Doctor, Is that question very necessary? Why don't we forget this discussion? No problem. In fact, I apologize for starting it at all. See you in 2 weeks' time. Throws a wistful glance at him. Thank you, doctor. Exit Aloho. Light fades. Light shines on Wusa Market. Ojeyi and Aloho in the market. Aloho is carrying a shopping basket in front of a market woman's stall. On top of the table are assorted soup condiments ranging from vegetables to varying kinds of crayfish, stockfish, melon, etc. On a lower table immediately in front of the bigger one are basins of raw rice, beans, maize, gari, etc. And on the floor are tubers of yam of various sizes and potatoes. Ojeyi greets the woman. Madam, good afternoon. Please, how much is your modu of rice? Good afternoon, my daughter. Which rice? Gwari or Nupa rice? I get Uncle Ben's too. No, madam. I want Gwari rice. Only big people eat Uncle Ben's. How much is the modu? Na 95 naira last. I will buy up to 4 modus. What can we do? We must survive. Cost of things are so exorbitant, and yet there is little or no money in circulation. Who suffers all this? The civil servants, of course. Little pay, and yet one is expected to buy in the same markets with everybody. Only God will help us. Madam, please measure for me. Okay, as you go buy 4 mudus, I go sell am 80 naira to you. I hope I don't help you, my pikin. Okay, you can measure. Thank you. Ojeyi, I hope this is the last item for today. In fact, I am tired, and you know, we have been walking the length and breadth of this market. Accepting the tied parcel from the woman, she pays her, turns to look at her friend. Aloho, what is wrong? Tired or what? You certainly do not look well to me. Anything worrying your mind? Ojeyi, I am not feeling fine, and to worsen the situation, I do not seem to find the right interpretation to the dream, or shall I call it nightmare, that I had last night. I think something terrible is about to happen to me. You always talk nonsense. By the way, what about the dream? And of course, I think dreams are for idle minds. I remember our lecturer of metaphysics described dream as a mere fantasy of the brain, a recapture of the mind's roving. In any case, what was the dream? In the dream, I saw a coffin right in front of me, and I could not identify the corpse in it. All of a sudden, my mother, my sisters and brothers gathered around it and were crying. I was just standing and looking at the coffin, and I could not even cry along with my mother. Suddenly, it disappeared, and I woke up with sweat all over my face. In fact, Ojeyi, I have not been myself since then. Consoles her. Maybe you forgot to pray before you slept. Look, Aloho, I have told you to remove your mind from all these stupid thoughts. Dreams are not realities. Please, let's go. If you don't think about them, it will not bother you. Period. Let us go. Maybe you are having malaria. We can buy some drugs at the chemist on our way out. Seriously. By the way, Aloho, are you still bent on terminating this pregnancy of yours? I will advise that you have a second thought. When did you say the doctor asked you to go back? In 2 weeks' time. We have spent a week and 5 days, so I am due to go there in 2 days' time. Ojeyi, what do you want me to do? Keep this unwanted pregnancy? What do I tell my parents? The cocaine story has broken their hearts enough not to add another fuel to the already burning fire. It's your life, not theirs. Please, think and pray about it. I am not feeling comfortable about this situation either. Maybe we shall discuss this again when we get home. Please, let us go. It's getting too hot out here. Exit Ojeyi and Aloho. Light fades and shines on Ozobia Hospital, Mabu. Nurse Halimatu is standing in front of the card shelf, checking and arranging the patient cards in their respective sections. Enter Aloho. Good morning, nurse. You remember me? I was here 2 weeks ago and I had an appointment with a doctor to come back today. Is he in? Oh, yes, I remember now. Please, do not feel bad that I could not recognize you earlier. You see, we attend to quite a lot of people here, so you must pardon me. The doctor is in, but you have to wait for just a few seconds for him to be free. Please sit down. Do you have your small card with you? Yes, I think so. Searches her bag and brings it out. Nurse, here it is. Hands it over to her and moves towards the chair and sit down. Nurse, you are such a nice person. What's your name? Thank you, madam. My name is Halima to Amuda. Surprised. Sorry, I am just inquisitive. I understand, madam. Aren't you lucky you must have come from a very good home? Just then, two people come out from the doctor's room. Nurse, is it okay for me to go in now? Yes, madam. You may go in. Stands up. Thank you, nurse. Moves towards the consulting room, knocks gently on the door and enters. Good morning, doctor. Good morning, madam. How are you feeling? I hope you have not taken anything as I warned you not to. No, doctor. Please feel relaxed, okay? Do you still feel that conducting the test to fully ascertain the positivity of your claim is not necessary? You are quite sure about it? Doctor, my feelings cannot deceive me. Yes, I am sure. Okay, please go into the theater. I hope you are ready for the exercise. The nurse will come and prepare you. I warn you that because of the maturity of your pregnancy, it may be a little tricky. However, I shall do my best. Just relax and have no fear. Aloho stands up. By the way, madam, why did you not come with any of your relations? She stops and hesitates. Does it matter, doctor? It suddenly dawns on her that even her closest friend Ojeyi is not aware of her being in the hospital right now. She practically stole herself away from a friend because she has not supported her in her decision. Doctor, later, maybe they will come. In any case, does that make any difference? She enters the theater, followed shortly by the nurse. Enter doctor, gloves in hands, gesturing to nurse. Nurse, you may leave us now. And please, if anybody asks of me, say I'm not in, okay? Yes, doctor. Exit nurse. Madam, please take off your dress and lie flat, face up on the bed. I hope you have not eaten. No, doctor. Fine. Just lie down, and in a few minutes, everything will be over. He moves towards her on the bed as she lay covered with the light blue colored bedsheets of the hospital. Suddenly, there is a repeated knocking on the door. Enters Nurse Halima. Calmly, she moves towards the doctor. Doctor, there's an emergency. Your attention is needed urgently. Please, a second's delay will spell doom for the young man. Doctor, please, suspend whatever you want to do now and come quickly. Seeing the urgency in her eyes, Madam, please don't be annoyed. At least you can understand somebody's life is in danger and we are to save life. I am sure you can understand. He rushes out of the room with the nurse following suit, leaving Aloho on the bed. Aloho, feeling frustrated and disappointed, scrabbles out of the bed. She picks her handbag, opens the door, and leaves the room. Curtain falls. Harvest of Corruption, Scene 6. Maisama, Ministry of External Relations. Inside the office of the Secretary of the Honorable Minister, sitting at the corner close to the door connecting the Honorable Minister's office, is the Secretary, Mrs. Obi. Sitting almost opposite her table at the other end of the room is a clerical officer, Ayo. In all, there are 3 staff in the room. The tea girl, Alice, completes the number. Addressing Mrs. Obi, Madam, have you heard the latest gist in town? No. What gist? Showing interest, she drops the file in her hand. I am going to tell you everything, but Do not quote me, oh. I am not ready to lose my job yet. Indeed, me I never see a man wey dey gossip like woman before. Madam, make you no listen to am oh. Feign annoyance. Madam, please warn Alice from meddling with my affairs. Addressing Alice. I don't blame you. After all, it is girls like you with their large eyes who are being used. Curiosity taking the better part of her. Can the two of you shut up and let me hear the so-called gist from Ayo? Now, Ayo, you can go on. Let me hear your gist. Calming down. Madam, it is our august protocol officer, Madam Aloho. Yes, what about her? Getting more curious. We heard she is, lowering his voice, pregnant, reading his lips. Indeed, what happened? Am I no longer a gossip? Look at you, stupid girl. Hey, will you shut up, both of you, and let me hear the details? Ayo, are you sure of what you're saying? Now tell me, how did it happen? Madam, we heard that after her discharge from the courts, she refused to come back to work with Oga. Impatiently. Yes, go on. We all know about that. Just go on. Well, the story has it that she was pregnant, lowering his voice, for Oga, pointing to the office of the minister. You don't mean it. Anyway, yes, go on. So she has been visiting doctors for abortion. Very attentive. So she died of abortion? Mrs. Obi ignores her and snaps her fingers. I thought as much. I know that all these hide and seek games that have been going on will one day come to light. Here is the result. Snaps her fingers. Oh God, help us. Ah, poor girl. She looks such an innocent girl. This Ochole girl, recoiling into herself and soliloquizing. I know nothing good will come out of her. She is a very devil incarnate. Imagine the way she lures these innocent girls and surrounds chief with them. She must be a human merchant of some sort to the chief. Poor girl, facing Ayo. So now, where is she? We understand that she is putting up with a friend at Panya. No wonder. Poor man. What is he going to do now? Well, I think he deserves whatever is coming to him. For how can he explain all these girls hovering around him, a supposedly honorable and married man, a public figure? It is real time for harvest for him. Whatever a man sows, same shall he reap. I pity him. I hope he will marry her as his number three wife. Protocol officer indeed. Hisses loudly. Light fades for a while and shines on the Assistant Commissioner of Police, Yakubu, in his office. Sitting with him is a subordinate officer, Inspector Inaku. Both of them are going through some documents. Enter Oji. Good morning, sir. Good morning, young lady. How are you? And what can we do for you this morning? You look sad. Please sit down and tell me. Addressing Yakubu. Sir, I have a story to tell you. I have come to you because you are my last hope now. I have heard a lot about you. Signals to Inaku. Please, we shall suspend this for now. I want to attend to the young lady. Turning to Oji. Yes, my young woman. What do you want to see me for? Beckons on Inaku to move closer. Inspector, please handle this. Go with her to your office and let me have a report on it later. Inaku and Ojeyi leave the office for his own. Young lady, feel free with him, okay? He's your friend, so you can confide in him too. They enter Inaku's office and sit, while he draws a little tape recorder closer. He's lost in a cassette and presses a button, gesturing her to speak. Young lady, by the way, what's your name? Where do you live? And what do you do? Sir, my name is Ojeyi. I live in number 2, Bosa Street, Panya, and I work as a receptionist in ABC Company, Ayokolo. Thank you. You may go on with your story, please. Sir, you see, shifting on her seat, I have a friend called Aloho. There is this man called Chief Haladu Adeamaka, a minister in one of the ministries, who employed her and got her involved in cocaine pushing and later impregnated her. She has been going from one hospital to the other for abortion. I don't want her to die. Begins to sob. Showing concern. Young lady, please control yourself. I am sorry about your friend, but continue. What happened after that? There is this judge who also cleared her even though she was guilty of the crime. The chief is highly connected to the judge, the police commissioner, and anybody who is somebody of worth in this town. This chief is well connected, sir, and so he can get away with anything he does. But, sir, begins to sob again. Do not allow my friend to do anything stupid to herself. If she does, her blood will be on his head. Oh God, help me, she sobs. Yes, go on. Also, there is this girl called Ochole and another woman called Madame Huha, the proprietress of a para hotel. In fact, these two are the real people behind Chief's atrocities. They are his aides and agents. They front for him in all the dirty businesses the chief does. I believe that if they are questioned, more information will be revealed about Chief's criminal activities. Please, sir, help me bring them to book. Soaps. Okay, have you finished? And are you very sure of what you have just said? If you're called upon, can you stand up and be a principal witness in this case? Yes, I shall do anything for her to bring these crooks to book before they commit more havoc. Yes, I will. She wipes her face. Thank you. You may go home. I shall contact you again very soon, so stay around. Exit Oji. Enaku enters the office of the assistant commissioner. Yes? What happened? She certainly looked worried. I hope she is not one of these girls complaining of being raped again. I am beginning to get worried myself over the numerous cases of rape going on in this town in the past couple of months. Sir, this is serious and more than rape. What we have been having sleepless nights over has suddenly dropped from the blues. Yes, yes, what did she say? Anything new? She came with information about Chief Haladuwade Amaka, the Honorable Minister of External Relations, and the relationship between him and his protocol officer, whom she said he impregnated. How does that concern us, Inspector? Burst out. I just cannot understand you people. Here we are racking our brains on more serious issues, and suddenly you start talking about boyfriend-girlfriend pregnancy issue? How does the police come into that? I shall play back the tape for you to hear, sir. Presses the button, and a voice filters out. Listens with rapt attention. This is fantastic. Inspector, you have done a good job. Is she ready to corroborate the story? Yes, sir. She is prepared to be a witness if called upon to do so. Fine. Then we shall hand this over to the presidency to direct the state security service to start action immediately. This is the end of the road for that crook minister. Inspector, you know what to do from here. You have my blessing and backing. As soon as this story gets to them, they will start their investigations. And of course, the result, well, your guess is as good as mine. Shrugs his shoulder. Curtain falls. Harvest of Corruption. Scene 7. Ojeyi's room. Aloho lies on the bed face upward. She is talking to Ojeyi. Ojeyi is sitting on the cushion in the room. I really don't know what is happening. Why is it that this doctor is doing this to me? Each time I go there, something dramatic will happen and he will abandon me. Yesterday was the third time it happened, and each time he gives me lengthy period intervals. Look at me now. Rubs her stomach. Illegal pregnancy is not a pleasant thing to exhibit all over the town consulting one hospital or the other for abortion. The damn thing is getting embarrassingly conspicuous. In fact, this is a safe man going. What am I to do now? Calmly. There is nothing for you to do other than to deliver the baby. Look, I told you this before. What is touching you is the finger of fate. Believe it or not, try not to tempt destiny. Whatever will be, no matter how hard you twist it. The important thing is that it will eventually happen, so why punish yourself? Don't go there again. Forget this abortion attempt. Soaps. How can I forget? Who wears it? Feels it? Don't you understand? Heats up. Understand what? That you are pregnant and you want to kill yourself? Is that what you want me to understand? Are you the first to encounter such? Agree that you acted foolishly, but is that enough reason for suicide? Okay, go ahead, kill yourself, but remember, whatever you do now does not and will not change anything. The deed is already done. What I want you to understand is that there is a saying that the eyes are never harmed by sleep. Sleep will come, and the eyes will be defeated. But that is just for a while. After that, the eyes will open again and be up and doing again. Please, learn from the eyes philosophy. Soaps. Oh, Oji, you don't understand that the rumors of my pregnancy is everywhere already. I can't hide it any longer. Can anybody cover a wildfire on the mountain? That is the reason you shouldn't do anything stupid any longer. If the light under the bushel is now seen on the hilltop, what is the essence of hiding it again, or even attempting to put it out? What you should be thinking of is how to approach your lover boy chief with this issue. By the way, is he aware of it? Oji, I can't bear you talking like that. I hope you're not mocking me. Well, he is not, and I'm not going to tell him anything. So please, drop that idea. It is my harvest, and I am prepared to handle it myself. No size of load is too heavy for the ant, if it is meant for it. I want to suggest something. Please hear me out first. Raises her hand to stop Allahu from interrupting. I think that under your present condition, you should travel home and let your people, particularly your mother, look after you. Right now, you need a lot of counseling, you know. Submitting. You know, at times, in my depressed moment, I feel like going to see my mother. I do really need her now, but when I think of how she will feel seeing me like this, I feel bad. I have betrayed her, my father, and in fact, my younger brothers and sisters. My father will kill me. He has so much hope on me. Become sympathetic. Aloha, my dear. Do not allow such thoughts to deprive you of their parental affections. Okay, Ojeyi, I'll think about it. I feel like a prodigal daughter right now, and I pray that I will still be welcomed by my parents. Moves to her on the bed and begins to caress her. That's my girl. Be bold, and God understands everybody. He is ready to welcome a sinner, especially when he or she shows genuine signs of repentance. They embrace as they sob. Light fades for some time, and then brightens on the office of the Honorable Minister. The chief is busy attending to files. The secretary bursting, panting. The minister stops what he is doing and raises his face to look at the secretary. Panting. Sir, 3 men are out there. They said they have come to see you. Frowns. What for? Did they explain anything to you? Shaking. No, sir, but they said that they are men of the State Security Service or something like that. SSS? Asserting himself. Anyway, don't worry, just let them in. Adjust the seat. Yes, sir. Leaves the office and enters her own, where the 3 men are still standing and surveying the room with their eyes. Gentlemen, you may go in. The Honorable Minister will see you now. They look at her with contempt and enter without knocking. In unison. Good morning, sir. Gentlemen, you're welcome. Please sit down. What can I do for you? Sir, we have orders to invite you to the headquarters to see our chief. Who are you? Frowning. And who the hell is your chief that you should come into my office and behave as if the world is in your pockets? Sir, we are really sorry, but we are running out of time. If you don't mind, it will be good for you and all the others to quietly do as you are told. Everything will be explained to you when we get there. He brings out his identity card and shows it to him. We are men of the State Security Service, sent from the headquarters to invite you. That's all we can say. Sir. Finds himself in a tight corner. Can you give me time to pull myself together? Gentlemen. Chief, you are all right as you are. Sorry, we cannot give you such privilege. That reminds me, where is your clerical assistant, Mr. Ayo, and Chief Admin Officer, Ocholi? We are going with them too. Beckoning on his colleague, please get them in the other offices. As the second SSS, and shortly, Ocholi and Ayo are brought in by the SSS, and together they leave the office. The secretary, the tea girl, and all stand up a while. The SSS file out to the chief. They watch helplessly. Meanwhile, the secretary, Mrs. Obi, reaches out for the phone, trying to call the permanent secretary. There is a panic in the office at their exit. Light fades on the secretary and shines on Ojeyi in her room. She is lying down on the bed reading a religious pamphlet. There is a faint knock on the door. Ojeyi stops reading and strains her ear to be sure she heard correctly. There is a knock again, and this time it is clearer and louder. Sits up. Yes? Who is that? A young man of about 22 years, average in height and dark in complexion, with 3 straight tribal marks on both cheeks that run from under the lower eyelids straight down to both ends of the mouth enters. The marks makes him appear to be crying each time one looks at him. His name is Okpotu, Aloho's younger brother. Good day, sister. My name is Okpotu, and I am the younger brother of Aloho from the village. Jumps up at the mention of Aloho. Oh, welcome. When did you come? How is she? Is she all right? I came in yesterday, and I spent the night at Maraka with one of our townsmen. In fact, I am here to see you in connection with Aloho. Hesitates as he wipes his face. She is dead. She died trying to deliver her baby. The baby is a girl and is alive. I was asked to come and trace you and tell you because Aloho kept calling your name until she eventually died. She specifically requested that we reach you before she gave up. Breaks down completely. She sobs uncontrollably. She rolls from one side of the ground to the other. Okpotu reaches out for her and places her gently on the bed as she sobs freely. Oh, my Aloho, why? Oh, why? God, why? She cries aloud. Sister, pull yourself together. We all miss her. While she was alive, she was the hope of the family. What can we do now? She is dead and gone. We pray for a gentle soul to rest in perfect peace. In fact, my father wants to know the name of the man who impregnated her. All attempts to get the information from her before she died was in vain. Not that he wants to make trouble, but just for the child's sake. We have all resigned ourselves to fate. Maybe that is the way God destined her life to end. He gives, he takes, no one can question him. Wipes her eyes, talking to herself, as if I knew this was going to happen. When I went to the Assistant Commissioner of Police, justice must be done. She must be avenged. Yes, I will make sure of that, even if that is the last thing I will do, so long as her soul is appeased. To Okpotu, go home and tell your father not to worry. God will handle the matter, and let him be rest assured that Aloho will be fully avenged. Relieved. Thank you, my sister. My sister kept mentioning your name. And how is the baby? Who is going to take care of her? Assuringly. Oh, never mind that. The baby is with our mother. My younger sisters are all there. I can assure you that the baby is in safe hands. She is going to be given the best care. Thank God. Please, give my regards to them. I shall come soonest to see the baby, and then to explain the full details to them. Stands up and makes to leave. I shall be going. Bye, and thanks for all that you did for my sister while she was alive. Starts sobbing afresh. Stands up to see him off. Bye, Okpotu. I will be there as soon as the case is over. For now, I must be around to be part of the whole affair, and to watch these criminals get their due punishment too. Exit Okpotu. Curtain falls. Harvest of Corruption. Scene 8. Wassa High Court of Justice, full of lawyers, Reporters, jurymen, and spectators attracted by the sensational nature of the case, the personalities involved in the publicity given to it in the press. Amidst the clamor and heated discussions and last-minute consultations going on in the course, the judge enters. Order! Court! Everybody rises and remains standing until the judge takes a seat. Call the first case. Case number 1. State vs. Chief Haladu Adeyamaka and 5 others. Chief Haladu Adeyamaka. 2 policemen and women lead 5 accused persons in and make them sit on a bench in front of the jury. Only Chief Haladu Adeyamaka is asked to remain standing, and the registrar reads the charges. That's you, Chief Haladu Adeyamaka, Honorable Minister of External Relations and a cabinet member of the Federal Republic of Jakasa. Number 1. On the 21st of May 1997, falsified figures, thereby altering the original amount purportedly to be contract awarded by your ministry to the tune of 1.2 billion naira on PV number 293, dated 21st May 1997, an act which is contrary to the provisions of government's financial regulations governing the award of government contracts. Number 2. That you, Chief Haladu Adeyamaka, on 3rd June 1997, illegally authorized Ms. Ochole, a chief administrative officer attached to you, to apply, sign and collect the sum of 5.8 million naira to purchase capital items for your office, a purchase which never took place, an act which is contrary to the financial regulations guiding supplies and finance and government stores regulations. Number 3. That on 9th October 1997, acting on an anonymous tip-off, a team of law enforcement agents were dispatched to your residence, and in the search that was carried out, large quantities of substances suspected to be cocaine were found there, an act which is contrary to the provision of the decree establishing the national drug law. And on further investigation, more of the substances was found with one Madam Hoha, the proprietress of Aquara Hotel. Number 4. That you, Chief Haladu Adeyamaka, recruited a commissioner of police and Justice Odili and gained their confidence, thereby aiding and abetting your obnoxious activities. Guilty or not guilty? Counsel for the defense, a tall, slim young man in white wig, stands up. Not guilty. What are the facts of the case? Counsel of the prosecution, a stiff elderly gentleman in a worn-out wig, rises and bows to the judge. Your Lordship and members of the jury, the facts are this. In reaction to an article in one of the dailies alleging a fraud against Chief Haladu Adeyamaka, the Honorable Minister of External Relations, to the effect that 1.2 billion naira could not be properly accounted for, Assistant Commissioner of Police in charge of CID, Mr. Yakubu, swung into action. His investigation took him to the ministry, where a clerical assistant in the office of the minister, Mr. Ayo, agreed to give information on the acceptance of 2,000 naira tip-off. He agreed to make available photocopies of vouchers connected with the fraud. My lord, if it pleases the court, I shall tender the vouchers marked Exhibit A. On a tip-off, law enforcement agents were dispatched to his house, where large quantities of substances, confirmed to be cocaine, were found and were further traced to the hotel of one Madam Hoha, which was discovered later to be indeed a warehouse for chief's nefarious activities, a crime which has been effectively covered and protected by very highly placed government public officers who are themselves supposed to be custodians of the law. The Commissioner of Police and the Justice of Law, a situation which makes it impossible for the law to take its normal course on this man and his accomplices. But now, it seems, the law finally catches up with them. These are the facts of the case. My lord, with your permission, I shall now call 2 witnesses to confirm these facts. I call the first prosecution witness, Inspector Inaku. Inspector Inaku. He goes into the witness box. The court clerk comes to the front of the witness box. Are you a Christian or Muslim? Christian. Handing a Bible over to him. Take this Bible in your hand and repeat after me. I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. What is your name? John Ode Inaku. Occupation? A detective inspector in the Criminal Investigation Department of Jakasan Police Force. Did anybody make a report to you at any time or date against Chief Haladu Wade Amaka or the Ministry of External Relations? Yes, but first, it was a newspaper report. Miss Ojeyi Oga and the Jakasan Flash of 21st June 1997. What did she and the newspaper say? First, the newspaper. On the front page of the newspaper was a screaming headline, 1.2 billion naira scandal rocking the Ministry of External Relations. The Honorable Minister indicted. Naturally, I became curious, and after consulting with my boss on the issue, permission was obtained to conduct an investigation into the allegation to ascertain the facts. I then decided to nose around for information. In my private investigation, I stumbled on one Mr. Ayo, a clerical assistant to the minister's office, who promised to cooperate after I enticed him with a sum of 2,000 naira, which I later handed over to the State Security Services on the advice of my superior officer. Then came a lady who later identified herself as Ojeyi Oga, who voluntarily came to my office and offered incriminating information against Chief Haladu Wade Amaka. Yes, go on. What information? That the chief once employed a friend called Aloho as one of his protocol officers, whom he actually used as one of his courier services to push cocaine to America. That in her very first attempt, she was caught, but Chief, in collaboration with the police commissioner and the Chief Justice, got her acquitted and discharged for want of evidence. That one Miss Ocholi Ode, who works in the office of the Honorable Minister as Chief Administrative Officer, was actually being used to perpetrate his criminal activities. That she helps in recruiting girls to be used for pushing cocaine and large money of ministry, which was being siphoned through her. She also said that there was one Madam Hoha who runs a hotel, which the chief used as a warehouse and a hideout for his dubious business and a meeting point for executing his obnoxious plans. My lord, permits me to tender the newspaper as Exhibit B and this wraps as Exhibit C. You may do so. Stands up. With whose permission did you extract that information? I put it to you, Mr. Detective, that you obtained those vouchers through the application of duress and intimidation on the greedy and unsuspecting young man. You are supposed to obtain proper permission before embarking on any investigation, especially on such information on the face of a mere newspaper. Jumping up. Objection, my lord. My learned colleague is insinuating. Hated up to. My lord, I am not insinuating anything, and I want the witness to answer the question. Objection sustained. The detective is not under any obligation to answer that question, especially when it is clear that if such permission was sought from the principal suspect, it is likely to be turned down, and in any case, he has already told this court that he consulted with his boss before taking action. Counsel for the prosecution, you may continue. My lord, I have finished with the detective inspector. He may step down. My lord, may I call the next witness, Miss Ojeyi Oga? Ojeyi Oga. Ojeyi Oga, sitting with Aloho's parents, goes into the witness box. The court clerk comes to the front with the Bible and the Quran in his hands. Are you a Christian or Muslim? A Christian. Gives her the Bible. Take this Bible in your right hand and repeat after me. I swear by Almighty God that The evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Repeats accordingly. What is your name? Ojeyi Oga. What are your qualifications? I hold a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration. Look at that man sitting here and all the people with him. Can you just probably say you know him or them? No. Why not? Certainly, you know him. Please, think properly. Stands up. My lord, objection. My learned colleague is going beyond the case in hand. Certainly, he cannot force a young lady to know the accused, as doing so will be tantamount to perverting the course and trend of the trial. Objection overruled. Please go on. Thank you, my lord. Now, young lady, if you don't know this man, why did you go to the police to accuse him of using your friend? Jumps up. Objection, my lord. Can my learned colleague expatiate what he means by using, as ordinarily it can connote so many things? Laughter in court. Order in court. Please go on, but try to be explicit in your choice of words. Thank you. My lord, I mean no harm. Ojeyi, am I right? Okay, please answer the question. I have never met him, but I have heard so much about him from my late friend Aloho, and of course, one of my schoolmates who works under him. She is called Ochule. What is the relationship between Aloho and your late friend, and the chief sitting down there? And why were you so concerned with the whole affair? My late friend Aloho was taken to the chief to be employed, as she was looking for a job desperately. I think it is in the state of desperation that she was ready for any kind of job, and so she was deceived into accepting a job, which was described to me as protocol officer to the Honorable Minister in the Ministry of External Relations. The relationship turned sour when she discovered that she was being used as cocaine pusher under the guise of protocol officer. She was, however, caught at the airport in a very first attempt. Though the court later set her free, she quit the job after her discharge, but discovered to her horror that she was already pregnant for the Honorable Minister. But she left for the village, where she finally died during childbirth. She tried desperately to commit abortion, which I dissuaded her from. It was in one of her attempts that I was moved to go to the police to relate the story. I put it to you that you were only jealous of the fact that your friend was always coming home with plenty of money and gifts from Chief, the Honorable Minister, and so you tried to get rid of her so that you can take over the relationship. So, no, no, no. Why did you say that? How could I be jealous of what I was continually dissuading her from? I am a born-again Christian, and I do not indulge in such things, please. Stands up. My lord, certainly, that is a very cruel thing to say by my learned colleague to the young lady before us. I do object to that, and I shall request your lordship to restrain him from further vulgarisms and insinuations. Noted. Defense counsel, you will please refrain from using vulgar words. Yes, my lord, I have finished. The witness may step down. My lord, if it pleases the court, I shall call in Chief Haladuwade Amaka, the principal accused. Yes. Chief Haladuwade Amaka. Chief Haladuwade Amaka leaves the dog and goes into the witness box. The court clerk comes to the front and parrots the traditional swearing ceremony. What is your name? Chief Haladuwade Amaka. Age? 59. What is your occupation? A member of the Cabinet of the Federal Republic. A minister. I am a public servant. How long have you been on the job? 3 years. Have you ever been involved in any case of embezzlement, bribery, or any form of corruption, misappropriation of funds, or maladministration? No. Interjecting. My lord, I am of the opinion that My learned colleague is missing the point. Yes, Mr. Defense Counsel, can you come to the point, please? My lord, I shall soon get to the point. Chief, when are you completing your tenure as a minister? Next year, except if the president finds me worthy to engage me again. I am sure you are most comfortable as a minister of an enviable Ministry of External Relations. Yes, I guess so. I have never complained. I am sure you're married and that your wife is still young and desirable. Yes, I am married and I love my wife. Cutting in. Are all these questions relevant to this case? Defense Counsel. Yes, my lord. I am trying to make a point. Visibly crossed. Then make the point and don't continue to waste the time of the court by rigmaroling. Yes, my lord. I shall be able to show your lordship directly in a moment. Chief, please tell this honorable court of your own version of the story. Wipes his face with a white handkerchief. My lord, I think this is the work of my enemies, who are hell-bent on seeing me removed from my position and humiliated. The whole thing is a setup. When the three gentlemen came first to my office to arrest me, and then to my house to search my house, little did I know that quantities of substances, which they later said was cocaine, has been put there to incriminate me. As for the newspaper report, I am sure the journalist has been sensational, as actually there is no truth in that allegation. In fact, all these people, pointing to the others, whom I am being accused with, I swear I do not know them or have anything to do with them, except the young lady there, pointing to Ochole, who is my staff. My record as a public servant are clean, and I am a responsible and respectable married man with children. I have never touched cocaine in my life, nor asked my protocol officer, whom I am just hearing is dead, to push it. As for the embezzlement allegation, well, the records are there for anyone who cares to scrutinize them properly without bias or malice. Are you saying that by that statement, you are denying having knowledge or committing the crime for which you stand trial? Yes. No. The problem is the girl who died. The dead, although dead people can talk, yet you know, you know, the fact is that she, oh, I mean, was screams at him. Mr. Man, will you please pull yourself together and speak the truth? I swear, God is my witness. I swear, my Lord, I am clean, and I have no knowledge of what they are saying. Then, what have you to say of these evidences before the court? Remember, the exhibits are still in the court. Now, what about the vouchers, for instance? My lord, I want to see a doctor. I am not feeling well. Just like the day you saw the State Security Service agent in your office? Laughter in court. Silence. Order in court. Sensing the situation as an obvious breakdown of nerve on the part of his client, stands up with one hand akimbo and the other tapping the table before him. My lord, members of the jury, I submit that the whole evidence, such as it is tantamount to travesty of justice, absolutely irresponsible, without foundation, and cleverly woven to implicate my client. How can a report in the face of a mere newspaper, or the gibbering of a frustrated, jealous young lady, who selfishly wants the good things the friend was enjoying for herself, to be tendered and accepted by this honorable court? More so, that an overambitious young clerk who decided to sell his conscience for a pot of porridge, and who should be brought to the book in the first instance, because he has no business giving out government classified information for money, where it is not oddly factuous. It is obviously fictitious. Here is a man who has served the government of his country in one of the most enviable positions of a minister, loyally and efficiently carrying the name of this great country across the shores, far and wide, for 3 years going. In recognition of his meritorious service, his sense of duty and integrity, he was made a Minister of External Relations, a position which serves as the image making of the country. In his position, he has engaged thousands of applicants and contractors, and no one has had any cause to complain of his conduct. Everybody has been satisfied, and the staff in the ministry speak eloquently about his magnanimity, generosity, and charisma. He has never before been engaged in any fraudulent or dubious and shoddy business in all his life. Why should he now? Yes, why should he now? Looks around. How could such a responsible public figure, charged with the duty of projecting the image of this country, be engaged in a fraudulent act as an embezzlement and worst of all, pushing cocaine? Let us examine the evidence of the prosecution witness itself. What a bundle of contradiction. The detective inspector said that he read a scandal on the pages of a newspaper. The question is, what stopped him from going straight to the honorable minister to find out the true position of the allegations instead of intimidating and corrupting a mere clerk? Again, he claimed a young frustrated girl approached him with such an incriminating story. What was the basis of her outburst? Simple. That she wanted to have a share of the national cake which her late friend was enjoying. An act of jealousy, anybody would say. What a fabrication. This is not to suggest that the hard-working detective inspector is lying. My lord, neither am I questioning his integrity, but we all know how overzealous some of these law enforcement agents are at times. We should consider the fact that they are human beings, eager to produce quick results and be patted on the back by their supporters. Was it not possible, and I think it is, that acting on unsubstantiated allegations of the newspaper and the intimidation ploy on the greedy clerk and a frustrated and jealous young girl, Detective Inspector naturally jumped to a conclusion? My contention, my lord, is that many people will have genuine doubt as to what really happened, since there were no witnesses except the accusers who could, in any case, wish to have the accused convicted at all costs. Again, I want to remind this honorable court that the young clerk, in his greed, acted contrary to the oath of secrecy in the civil service, and I therefore implore this court to look into that, with a view to checking such excesses among the general populace of the civil servants. The onus is on the prosecution to prove that my client actually acted fraudulently, thereby betraying the trust of the President of this great country and members of his cabinet. He must be able to prove this case beyond reasonable doubt that my client is corrupt, but he has failed to prove his case beyond reasonable doubt and must consequently fail. I therefore make a no-case submission. Rising gently with the grace of an archbishop, bows to the judge and then to the jury, removes his glasses, and fixes a piercing gaze on the accused for a moment and a passing glance at the others. Suddenly, he transfers his attention and faces the judge directly. My lord, gentlemen of the jury, I commend my learned friend for cleverly weaving the evidence of the prosecution to confuse this honorable court. By such means, he has carefully and tactically gone round the law and twisted it to his own use. I shall not waste the time of the court by going over the evidence because the issues before this court are clear and raise no doubt whatsoever. If the accused had not committed the crime as alleged, why should the clerical assistant produce the vouchers? Why should the cocaine be found in his house? The woman called Madam Hoha was cross-examined before us, and her answers left nobody in doubt as to the connection between the principal accused and the woman. Or, how else can the answer of the so-called chief administrative officer, as given in this court, be reconciled with the accused's purported denial? The case is clear and needs no further debate. Again, when the Chief Justice was questioned, he confessed before us how the accused visited him on a number of times and gave him money and presents. The question is, why was the money and gifts given to the Chief Judge? It is for him to thwart the law in his favor. The police commissioner has now denied that the accused has been spending substantial amounts on him in order to be given police protection. My lord, what other evidence does this court need again to convict these dangerous people wearing the meek and deceptive clothes of lambs? The issues before the court are quite clear, and under the circumstances, the accused and his horse and cohorts must suffer the due penalties of the law. He bows and sits down. Looking towards the jury, "Gentlemen, an honorable judge of the Supreme Court once said, and I quote, 'I am compassionate by nature as well as by my profession, and though the work I do may seem cruel to those who do not know how much more cruel it will be to leave it undone, the holy books of God tells us that the wages of sin is death. Whether this death is a physical or spiritual one is not a matter for this court, but for the theologians. What matters to us here is that anybody who plants must reap. Better still, harvesting is the word. Corruption is not a friendly word to the legal institution. Therefore, anybody who plants corruption should be ready to harvest it. I ask you to address yourself to this trial in that conviction. Anger is a bad counselor. Cast it out, but do not cast away mercy. Remember only that justice comes first. Members of the jury, you have heard the evidence of the prosecution and that of the accused. It is now for one to clarify the issues you have to try. The defense set up is that the whole accusation is mere fabrication. Well, you have heard the evidences of the accused. If you feel that the accusation is false and a mere fabrication originating from futile imagination of the clerk and the law enforcement agents sent to the principal accused, then you will find the accused not guilty. If you feel the witnesses falsely accuse the suspect before us here without finding anything incriminating on him, again, you will find the suspect not guilty. But if, on the other hand, you have no doubt whatsoever in your mind that the accused did commit the offenses for which he is being charged here today, then you will find him guilty. Again, you must not allow any considerations of their social status and their involvement in government, their length of service, the possible loss of their career, and the retirement benefits to weigh on you in reaching your verdict. He pauses, looks from one man to another. Gentlemen, you may retire. The jury retire, and the judge stands up and makes to leave, following the jury behind. Light fades. The courtroom. Light comes on with everybody in the same position, and the jury returns to their box. Enters the judge. Court. Everybody rises up and remains standing until he takes his seat. Stand up with paper in hands. Members of the jury. Addresses the jury directly. You are agreed on your verdict? We are agreed. Is it guilty or not guilty? Guilty. Jumps up. Your Lordship, I agree that nothing will change the mind of the jury to reverse its decision. Permit me, in mitigation of my client's offenses and in consideration for their position in the society, as well as their contributions to the growth and development of this country over the years, to request that you show clemency and give them the option of fine. Addressing the accused persons. Suspects at the bar, you stand convicted of fraud, embezzlement, drug dealing, bribery and corruption, abuse of public office, betrayal of people's trust, etc., etc., etc. Has any of you anything to say for yourself why the court should not give you judgment according to law? Please be lenient with me and temper justice with mercy. I never did all that I am being accused of today. Think of all that I have done for this country. What will happen to my family? My entire village and local government depends on me. I am already advanced in age. Please, don't send me to jail. I shall not call or address you as chief, because you do not deserve it. Honestly, Mr. Minister of External Relations, people like you, who dress in cheap clothing, when actually they are wolves, in my opinion, should be paraded publicly for people to see. The government talks about armed robbers every day. Yes, but I think you should begin to think seriously about prescribing the firing squad to curb the rampant pen robbery that is going on in this country. You and your likes are the real robbers that the Jackass people should be afraid of. I am beginning to believe the saying that the pen is mightier than the sword, the other way round. The public service needs to be cleaned up. The likes of you should hide their faces in shame when your fate is heard beyond the four corners of this court. You are a disgrace to the government that saddled you with a ministerial responsibility and a very sensitive portfolio of external relations. Instead of representing the government and the people of this country, you were busy trafficking drugs and amassing ill-gotten wealth and wallowing in corruption. Well, this now is the harvest of corruption. You have been given a fair trial and found guilty in order to deter others from following your shameless example, because this is becoming rampant, and I am strongly of the opinion that this country must be protected against unscrupulous public officers of your type who abuse their positions of trust and responsibility, thereby betraying the confidence reposed in them. I must also warn criminals who go to bribe judges in an attempt to pervert the course of justice that the judiciary has changed its orientation, and hence such people, when caught, will be dealt with according to the law. Sobin, show mercy, my lord. I have a family, please. Looking sternly at Halajwadi Amaka, for all the atrocities you have perpetrated in this country under the cover of a minister, which have not been detected, I say nothing. But for this ones known, in which you stand convicted, I find you guilty as charged, and therefore sentence you to 25 years imprisonment with hard labor. In addition, you are to refund the sum of 1.2 billion naira to the government. As for you, the Commissioner of Police and the Chief Justice, all I can say is that you are a big disgrace to our noble profession. Greed and avariciousness have blinded you against the ethical demands of the profession, and you have to pay for your sins. You are both sentenced to 20 years each with hard labor. You must reap the harvest of your corruption. The clerk who violates the oath of secrecy to keep government secret and was tempted by the mere offer of 2,000 naira. Though your action has assisted us to unearth a grievous crime, yet the underlying motive convicts you. I therefore sentence you to 5 years imprisonment. For exposing a crime, I commend you, but for receiving bribe, I condemn you for others to learn. Madam Hoha and Miss Ochole, your love of money and the appetite to pursue it is indescribable. Madam Hoha, from this moment, that hotel of yours should be sealed up, as we cannot continue to be operating haven for criminal activities under the guise of beer parlors. Both of you are hereby sentenced to 10 years each with hard labor. When you plant, you should be prepared to harvest. While your mates were busy making an honest living, you are busy planting corruption. Well, the season of harvest has come. He hits the table with his gavel. The prisoners are led away by the policemen, and there is general commotion in the court. Court! Curtain falls. The end.